Welcome to the best vidcast in baseball. I'm Jeff Gordon here with the beat reporter, the Post-Dispatch baseball writer, Derrick Goold. So far, so good. After 4 games, the Cardinals certainly sending a message that they're going to come out and play, despite all the chit-chat about a team in transition. What's impressed you so far?
I think their overall style of play in that weekend sweep of the Minnesota Twins, just a lot of the things that they had talked all spring about saying they wanted to have as their identity, they then showed. So I guess the common phrase or the current hip phrase is that they had proof of concept, Jeff Gordon. They had proof of concept, and they went out there. You think about the at-bats right from the start with Lars Nootbaar, leadoff single for the whole season, and then on through Sunday when they completed the sweep with Nolan Gorman and Pedro Pages coming off the bench to each have 3 hits, each have home runs, and Victor Scott, of course, had the 3-run homer that flipped that game. So I think you look at just kind of the number of things that went right for them and the number of things that they did that are sustainable. The offense is not going to crank out 19 runs in 3 days all the time. Let's be honest, they're not the Dodgers, but they can, however, rely on that strong defense. They can rely on the approach that we saw. They can continue to get starting pitching like that. And for the most part, they did get strong bullpen performance until a little leak there when the Angels came to town.
Well, it is interesting to see them stress fielding going in, and we talked about that
Yeah.
before. Certainly, I'm intrigued by the rotation at catcher, which is something we've talked about in the past. They using Pedro to come in for Ivan and for fielding purposes, and just another way of Ollie telling the world we're in here to suppress runs.
Yeah, exactly. And Michael Ciani getting the defensive saves. It wasn't too long ago where we were, well, I guess now it was too long ago. I think about it. Harrison Bader's been a free agent a few times by now. But we would track defensive saves in the press box, kind of like what a reliever gets for coming in the ninth in a close game and closing it out. We would credit the defensive saves to a guy like Harrison Bader, who would come into the center field and close out the game. Michael Ciani is doing the same thing. Pedro Pages is doing the same thing. Did catch up with them a little bit with the Angels because they didn't have Herrera to take 2 rather key at bats there late in that game on Monday night.
One negative note, it would seem, Mason Wynn still searching for a stroke. You wrote about how he was searching for that stroke during the rain delay. As felt like he's closing in on becoming Mason Wynn again.
Yeah, during Sunday's 58-minute rain delay, he was in the cage working out. But really what I thought was most interesting was he did a side-by-side comparison, how he did in an at-bat during that game against a right-hander. And he dialed it back to a game that he had against the Tampa Bay, and actually really a whole series he had against Tampa Bay. But he fixated on one at-bat where he hit the ball 111 miles per hour off his bat. It was a sinker in 97 miles per hour from another right-hander. And he looked at just how his setup and his swing at the plate from one at bat to another. What he saw was a guy who was swinging uphill. He had some tilt, and he said, all right, I can go back to what I was doing, which was driving down, tilting the opposite way with kind of his torso pelvis and driving the ball that way. He was rewarded for it with 3 barrels, as they say, in Monday night's game against the Angels, and a ball that he hit 108 miles per hour. It just happened to go right to a glove. So positive turn in one game for him, especially to have immediate results from what he was working on, or as we like to say, proof of concept, Jeff Gordon. There was proof of concept.
That's Derrick Goold. I'm Jeff Gordon. Reminder that here at stltoday.com, the digital edition of the Post-Dispatch, you'll get all sorts of extra content, videos, podcasts, all sorts of cool stuff all season long as Derrick keeps you up to speed on the Cardinals. Until next time, catch you later.